Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my April 2020 book haul. So back in the beginning of 2020, I of course gave myself the nudge to say, you could just feature library books on these book hauls. You don't have to buy all the time. But that was before coronavirus. And this is the month where the coronavirus buying took hold. I mean, I could show you a handful of books that I was able to acquire digitally from the library, but I also did buy a few. I'm going to show them in order of justification. The first three books that I bought, I am reading for the BookTube Prize quarterfinals. The BookTube Prize is an annual prize that awards fiction and now nonfiction that's published the year prior. And since I'm an official judge, I have an obligation to get my hands on the 6 books that I was set to read and review. Luckily, I was able to acquire 3 of them through the library, but 3 others I bought for keeps. Starting with this one, Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, A Therapist, Her Therapist, and Our Lives Revealed by Lori Gottlieb. I bought this one from East City Books, trying to bolster my local bookstores, and East City Books is a Capitol Hill bookstore that is the closest to my work. And they also have a very robust and easily navigatable online buying system, so huzzah! These next 2 I got from sellers using Books, and they have similar themes going on here. The first is a memoir, Solitary, Unbroken for 4 Decades in Solitary Confinement, My Story of Transformation and Hope by Albert Woodfox. And the second is more of a study called Charged, The New Movement to Transform American Prosecution and End Mass Incarceration by Emily Bazelon. This next book I am going to read for a readathon that's coming up in May called the Maybe Midrash Readathon, and I got it off of Barnes & Noble, trying to spread the love a bit. This is Here All Along, Finding Meaning, Spirituality, and a Deeper Connection to Life in Judaism by Sarah Hurwitz. I also featured it on the video I did in January about the latest batch of nominees and winners for the National Jewish Book Awards. And I will read from the flap. After a decade as a political speechwriter, serving as head speechwriter for First Lady Michelle Obama, a senior speechwriter for President Barack Obama, and chief speechwriter for Hillary Clinton on her 2008 presidential campaign, Sarah Hurwitz decided to apply her skills as a communicator to writing a book about Judaism. And no one is more surprised than she is. Hurwitz was the quintessential lapsed Jew, until at age 36, after a tough breakup, she happened upon an advertisement for an introductory class on Judaism. She attended on a whim and was blown away by what she found: beautiful rituals, helpful guidance on living an ethical life, conceptions of God beyond the judgy bearded man in the sky, none of which she had learned in Hebrew school or during the 2 synagogue services she grudgingly attended each year. That class led to a years-long journey during which Hurwitz visited the offices of rabbis, attended Jewish meditation retreats, sat at Shabbat tables of Orthodox families, and read hundreds of books about Judaism, all in a dogged pursuit of answers to her biggest questions. What she found transformed her life, and she wondered, how could there be such a gap between the richness of what Judaism offers and the way so many Jews like her understand and experience it? Sarah Hurwitz is on a mission to close this gap by sharing the profound insights she discovered on everything from Jewish holidays, ethics, and prayer to Jewish conceptions of God, death, and social justice. In this entertaining and accessible book, she shows us why Judaism matters and how its message is more relevant than ever, and she inspires Jews to do the learning, questioning, and debating required to make this religion their own. So yeah, a little bit of a teaser for a Maybe Midrash video I will be making soon. And finally, I actually ordered this one the earliest back in mid-March and just got it in the mail a couple of days ago. I ordered it from my local indie bookstore, Loyalty Books, which is just a few blocks away from my condo, but they didn't have it in stock at the store, so it just took a while to get it from the warehouse. And this is A Pure Heart by Raja Hasib, This is her second novel. I read her first novel, In the Language of Miracles, at the beginning of this month. And I meant to read this novel shortly thereafter, but I didn't have access to it until a couple of days ago. And I'm hoping to place it on my TBR somewhere over the summer. And I will read from the flap. Sisters Rose and Gamila Gubran could not have been more different. Rose, an Egyptologist, married an American journalist and emigrated to New York City, where she works in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Gamila, a devout Muslim since her teenage years, stayed in Cairo. During the aftermath of Egypt's revolution, Gamila is killed in a suicide bombing. When Rose returns to Egypt after the bombing, she sifts through the artifacts Gamila left behind, desperate to understand how her sister came to die and who she truly was. Soon Rose realizes that Gamila has left many questions unanswered. Why had she quit her job just a few months before her death and not told her family? Who was she romantically involved with? And how did the religious Gamila manage to keep so many secrets? Rich in depth and feeling, A Pure Heart is a brilliant portrait of two Muslim women in the 21st century, and the decisions they make in work and love that determine their destinies. As Rose is struggling to reconcile her identities as an Egyptian and as a new American, she investigates Gamila's devotion to her religion and her country. The more Rose uncovers about her sister's life, the more she must reconcile their two fates, their inextricable bond as sisters, and who should and should not be held responsible for Gamila's death. Raja Haseeb's A Pure Heart is a stirring and deeply textured novel that asks what it means to forgive and considers how faith, family, and love can unite and divide us. So, yeah, it's actually quite similar to this book, perhaps a little bit more political, but still dealing with family and faith and life and death and differing attitudes to both of them, especially within a Muslim Egyptian family. I love the family drama. I'm always intrigued by the external conflicts of identity that go on as well, and looking forward to getting to this. And of course, I'm also glad that I bought this book, and I feel justified in buying this book, because I can't have a book haul without at least one fiction book. Oh no. So that about covers it for me now. You can find the Goodreads links for all of these books listed down below. So, we've made it through a full month of coronavirus. In the US, this is largely a month where we have been quarantined and only essential workers have been out and about. And I can't thank them enough for all that they're doing for the rest of us. I'm sure each day brings trials and tribulations to all of us. I've been going through unemployment and getting that all set up. My trip to Israel that was supposed to take place this summer was canceled, but not before I booked the flight, and am going through the motions of trying to see the best course of action about what to do with that. And now, as we round out April, I have a crazy home-based drama to deal with. The other day, there was a gas leak that was discovered above the restaurant that shares the building with my condo. And since then, the management has brought in a plumbing and gas team that's gone through each unit to unplug our stoves and work around in our water closet so that we can no longer cook or have access to hot water until they figure out what's going on. It's taking a little longer than I hoped. It started 2 days ago, and since then I've been patronizing more of my local restaurants, at least, and helping them out. I had been before, but not consecutively night by night. It's a bit of a crazy time for all of this to be happening, with me stuck at home in quarantine and people coming into my unit with gas masks. I guess I gotta apply the same logic that I've been using for this past 40 whatever days of just taking things one step at a time and remembering all that's still available to me, like these books that I just showed off. I'm very excited for my reading month in May, and have some writing goals lined up. Have been submitting a fair bit of writing in April, so but anyway, On that note, I hope that all of you are continuing to carry forth as well as we enter the 5th crazy month of 2020. And I'll be looking forward to continuing to go on the journey with you on BookTube. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.